Dearly redheaded, we are choosing consciousness today to get through this thing called grief. Interesting word, grief. It means love, which makes for a mighty good joke. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing else. Just joy. And if the big picture tends to bring you down, go crazy once your life goes. Woo!
Can I lead with that?
Whatever you want to do.
That's very funny. All right. We're going to the stratosphere.
That's it. We're blowing it out.
Did you get that? We're going to the stratosphere, or do I have to say it again?
No.
Brian was just sharing that his wife has 3 brothers, and he thinks that's why they are so
compatible.
There you go. She's a very pretty man.
That's it.
See, I used to, when I talk about my marriage, please accept that I am long over it and only recently could make it funny. And I used to do things. Now, mind you, I didn't understand what I understand now. But I didn't understand that I was mom. I understood what was wrong eventually, but I didn't understand how I was being pigeonholed. And I used to, there was definitely the expectation that I would organize, definitely the expectation that I would be the left brain in the relationship. And I'm here to tell you, I disappointed him greatly. And it just got to the point where I would say, ask my vagina, and look at my vagina like my vagina doesn't know. Ask her. And it was funny, but it was just so horrible because, I mean, the expectations on me, that's where being on the spectrum protected me, because I never, even though those expectations were on me, family and otherwise, I never owned them. So I was perpetually disappointing people, but also abandoning myself, because even though just anything I wanted or said never had any buoyancy, it was like, oh, that's just the way she is or whatever. Anyway, I have hinted about my Magdalene persona, but I don't think I have shared how that came to be. Now, this is going to be one of those podcasts where it's a little out there, because I've shared before that I'm a little dense, I'm a little obtuse. So when synchronicities are popping, sometimes I just need, I'm a hard sell. I'm a hard sell. So I don't remember when the Magdalene, I know where the persona came from, but the concept of Magdalene, I don't remember how that came to me. And for those of you who don't know, Magdalene was a disciple of Jesus's that he may or may not have had a physical relationship. He may or may not have had a daughter with. It's a lot of stuff that was basically left out. So there's a lot of information on Magdalene in France. I think Egypt. There's a lot of beautiful art associated with her. I know a little. I often say I'm not here for the past, I'm here for the future. So I know that there were Magdalene asylums in this country. In fact, I think the last one to close was in 1998 in Philadelphia. These were homes for wayward women. They were essentially servants. If a woman went there pregnant, Very often her child would be taken and put up for an adoption. Very, very sad history associated with the Magdalene asylums. So I knew I had to pay attention, and I'm willing to learn as I go where she's concerned. I hope there's somebody I hope will talk to me about her who's like probably knows more about her than anybody. And I should write that down because I keep forgetting to do that. But anyway, so I was using THC. I was never a big user, but I was using it surrounding the loss of my aunt and then my mother. And in October of 23, this is hard to talk about, and I don't mean the Magdalene part. I knew I was getting my mother and my aunt together for the last time. And it was a very spiritual time, but I was also using THC. So I if you have my kind of brain after a spiritual awakening, let's just say the THC didn't do me any favors, but it certainly curbed grief. So I went to Long Island, got my mom. It was like the second week in October, second week in October. And I had some real kooky dooky experiences before I got there. That will be in the book. When I got there, I was having the woman I went with is a medium. Woman I had known a long time, had only recently learned that about herself. So my energy with her energy was very compelling as to what went on and what happened. I channel, but not in a scary, fluky, dooky way, just by being in touch with my higher self, what I would liken what Gabby does. Wayne Dyer used to talk about it. We're all capable of channeling. There's nothing otherworldly about it. It's actually pretty human. So we're having a very unique, beautiful, incredible experience. But I'm also heartbroken because I know that this is going to be the last visit. My aunt ended up dying in November, and then my mother in the subsequent May. So I was pretty in tune with all that was going on. And I wasn't using substance to have certain experiences with them, but at the end of the day, this woman and I would smoke and go down to the beach, and just after being with the ladies, that's how we would unwind. And I was absolutely having psychedelic experiences, but I didn't know I was yet. What my former guide, who also happened to be a psychologist, would say to me when I would inquire about mushrooms or psychedelics, like what does that offer? He compared it to, and I may have made this analogy before, being at the top of an elevator that overlooks the world. The doors open, you get a glimpse of things you can't contemplate, and the trick is, as the doors close, you try to keep your foot in the door and take something away from the psychedelic experience. And when he described that to me, I said, well, that's what happens to me on pot. Like, that's what's going on with me in pot. So that's like the first time I understood that my friends would say, when I have friends before and after my spiritual experience, that would just say I was definitely having a different experience. How about that? And then subsequently, I haven't had a THC experience in almost a year. So, and I don't intend to. It's just not something with my mind I even have to contemplate. So back to Long Island. So on Long Island, whatever had happened, and again, I'll write more about the details, but whatever had happened, I knew I had to do something with Magdalene, like make her relevant in a comedic way. I wasn't going to go to church and there was nothing religious about this. It was very spiritual, and it was very like, okay. And I also was so interested in it because I had no idea. I am not a religious person. I don't have a religious background, and I was always more attracted to Buddhism, Hinduism than Christianity. Not that I believe in God. You know what I mean? This again, I'm 50, however many years, and Magdalene shows up. So, and also, and this is where I did not know. I believe she was the last one to see him. Well, she saw him crucified with his mother, which just talk about the word crucified. That emotionally crucified me to think of that. And then she was the first to know about the resurrection. So I learned a little bit about religion as a result of having this spiritual experience. So I then, and this is true, my synchronicities are funny. They're fucking funny. And I shared this with Brian coming in here this morning. I don't know what made me do it, but I looked up my last name in the Urban Dictionary. All right, you're smiling. I'm acknowledging because I'm looking for a little validation here.
I read it. You're going to read it to us.
Yeah. So I look up my last name, and I kept my father and mother's last name. I never. It's my maiden name, if you want to call it that. And it says Secchi's, like busting a nut for the second time. It hurts, and it takes a little more time to get it done, but it is still satisfying. So my comedic mind went, oh, I really am the second coming, and I'm a woman. There's the joke. So this is where the Magdalene persona, I did write a script about Magdalene. I don't love it. I am doing something else with Magdalene and Jesus' relationship that when it's out, I'll share. I don't want to share that now because I'm very, very excited about that. That's my first entree into Magdalene. But beyond that, I hope to represent her as a sapiosexual dominatrix. I'm me doing it. I'm not her, but and a romantic tantric. So I hope to embrace and harmonize the anima and animus in me, to embrace and harmonize that, mostly in men. I'm not going to lie. I'll do it for women, but I'd rather do it for men. So I hope to get the opportunity, and I may, because I have such a mixed relationship with stand-up, and until I get some of my books out and the podcast has some interest, I envision doing this in and amongst talking about the tough stuff. I always imagine the comedy wrapped into the tough stuff. I don't see myself being a straight stand-up. And I really don't have the interest in straight stand-up. It's something I can do, but it's not nearly as interesting to me to make people think than to make them laugh, which I kind of learned the hard way. But so my intention, and I've alluded to it before, is to be a blue comedic healer and utilize what Magdalene did in a very modern day way. I envision, and it probably would be much more effective in a call-in way for the sake of the person that I'm talking to, more protective, anonymous. But I picture it in a stage way where I'm the dominatrix, so I get to decide. But it's to help them heal, so it's not meant to harm or hurt or roast or embarrass, but it is. It's a way to face your shadow and be able to look at yourself, and it's not going to be for somebody who I want to give men the crash course on feeling better. And I'm selfish because as a woman I want our relationships to be better. I really am just so disheartened by how polarized we are and what polarizes us. I had thought many, many years ago maybe I'd be a matchmaker, and that thought lasted for about 22 seconds. And it's also like a love letter to myself and to my divine masculine. I have an energy that I'm very close with that is attached to my higher self and that wants the best for me. And at the same time, the other energies that I commune with, these are not people, folks. I hope you know that. This is an energy thing. That just, if you take an interest in people who are connected to their higher selves, and that psychologist that I mentioned earlier, is you're connecting in a way that it couldn't be your idea. It couldn't be your say solutions. So when I'm looking for solutions and I ask it of myself and I get answers, that's what I mean by connecting to the higher self, the collective unconscious. And it's just so powerful. And this is a stretch, but not in my mind. I mentioned Alan Shore. We are just learning, and I don't know what his research is based on, but we're just learning that the right brain is associated with the unconscious. So it makes so much sense to me, being a right brain dominated person, that my left brain is essentially the side that harbors the injury, but the right brain has compensated. And you see what hand I'm talking with. Very, very, and being a redhead, very regressive things in my scheme. So, I'm going to educate about Magdalene. I think I've mentioned that I had a conversation with Padma. I'm going to destroy his last name. I think it's Prakasha, who wrote about Shakti, Shakti energy. I talked to him about Magdalene. He writes about the womb and a series of beautiful things associated with Magdalene, and I am probably going to try to correlate. I don't want to say that. I don't know who to say it about, but she was supposedly had 7 demons that supposedly Jesus freed her of, and I'm trying to make the leap that these are 7 very positive but threatening things. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So, yeah. And I don't always feel like I don't think it's my calling to read 67 books on Magdalene. I don't feel that obligation. I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. I'm here to resonate with the past, but do something with the future. And I look for anything that I talk about. I look forward to a modern day guru talking about it. And yes, she was a redhead. Okay, I'm making her one. I don't. And she's definitely a redhead. I have an affinity for her. Huh. Yeah, that's what it is. I can't imagine what she went through. It breaks my heart. But Padma was telling me what a sensual woman she was, and I'm like, fucking better. Like, yeah, like that's why she had to be. That's why she was so threatening. Because it probably wasn't her mind. That was a joke. Maybe her sense of humor. All right. Well, I hope that felt a little bit like my sexual alchemy.
I think you're on the right track.
I hope.
I see that as being like a cool crowd work show.
So do I.
Like that women are going to drag their husbands to and be like, do him.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think I've told you what I'm packing.
Well,
I've
seen some tools.
I've got the tools. I've got the cuffs. I've got the scarves. I've got the. And I wrote a list of like 15 items I wanted, and one of my somebody saw it, and they're like, "What the fuck is that for?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's not for Friday night, so don't get too excited." But yeah, I think of things, and that's what does me. Like my masculine energy is very strong. I try to balance it, but this podcast kind of throws me. It's not 50-50. It's like 75-25. So this podcast really drives the masculine side of me. I swear to Buddha, I'm a mush, but and I meant a feminine mush, not a pushover. See, my mind's being very unfair right now. But yeah, I absolutely, and I think that that's where it could be fun because they could be pre-planned, and if someone's coming to see me, then we can totally set them up. My fantasy is to do Elon Musk with a bag over his fucking head. And I have him ask for, like, let's say, and I have done this, I don't know what it sounds like, but I have said, here, pick from this, because I'm going to do what I want, but I want to know what he wants, so, I can not give him what he wants or give him what he wants. I mean, it is meant, and you don't have to be super good looking, super wealthy, just somebody powerful who wants to be roasted. I mean, it's no fun doing it if it's, well, or is it against his will? No physical I'll talk, no action.
Fair enough.
No action. Yeah, I think of things all the time to get for that, and I also think about how to dress for it and how to utilize, but very often it'll be for the audience's benefit. The person I dominate may not have any idea. I might blindfold them. In fact, I think it would be better if they were blindfolded.
That might make more sense.
I mean, they can see it if somebody videotapes it. But
open to suggestions. See what the people think.
I'm being coy right now because I can't. I am so fucking sane.
Is there an after hours episode of this?
Well, I was thinking driving here, or I don't know if I was driving here, but I was driving, and I was like, I should just do a fucking sapiosexual dominatrix, charge $1,000 for a monthly subscription, and do sapiosexual texting for like 10 people.
Listen, in a world where people sell feet pics, anything's possible.
Well, that's Jesse's arena. That's the germaphobe with the foot fetish. By the way, never mind. I'm not going to admit that right now. See, my brain is being what I almost just said. Oh, thank you. Someone's watching out for me.
It's the last recorded episode of the day. Everybody's a little punchy, right?
Well, I always say I want to get dirty and I want to talk about sex, but it's like it's only gonna. It'll be more fun for me when I know people are interested and we get some write in or call in, and then what I almost just said. I'll remind me to tell you privately, and you'll.
Fair enough.
Oy vey, Joanne. Oy vey. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something that you lead with, but. All right, time check.
25 minutes.
All right, everybody, listen. I don't do a good job of reminding you to check in, email. What the fuck is my email? I think it's naturalborn.redhead23@gmail. Website is naturalbornredhead. Where these guys are going to put me, Conversion Works. I'll know soon enough.
It'll be on the line.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Every spot, YouTube, Facebook, it'll be out there.
Okay.
You can find it.
And I am giving up life, liberty, and dick jokes, and I'm going to be blue comedic healer. And a healer's job is not to heal you, it's to help you heal yourself. So maybe I can do something sapiosexually, but that's my line in the sand.
That's it.
Oy, Joanne. What would my mother say? Tell me. Come on, let's end it with a mother.
Let's see. What would Mom say?
Spent a lot of time on my back, as they say.
Yeah, she did. She was very into the missionary position. And she didn't give blowjobs, my mother. I want the history of the blowjob. I want to know when they started. I want to know how they started. Very fascinated.
All right, stay tuned. That'll be the first episode next week.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Thank you for listening and supporting Natural Born Redhead. If you follow the bouncing balls, please like and subscribe. If you know someone interested in sparing others grief and inciting joy, message me on Facebook or reach out via my website, Natural Born Redhead. J-Ma.